Okay, folks, welcome to the show today. This is another segment of our Destination New Start radio show. I'm going to introduce again to you Mr. Nick Mamounis from NixFlix.net. And let's give it up for Nick at NixFlix.
Well, thank you, Reggie. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds really good.
So today I walked them through our DestinationNewStart.com, a couple features on that, and we're going to let you go ahead and give them a tour of actually NixFlix.net and tell them about what you do.
Okay, sure. Well, basically what I try to do is make this fun to read and fun to learn about. I've always been fascinated by movies, TV, video games, comic books, etc. So I figured when Reggie first asked me, do you want to be a part of this, I figured, sure, how about if I do the entertainment section of the show? Since we have people doing, about the environment, about work, and about about religion, why not have something that's just for fun? So this is what I do. Now, this was the only thing I do. Sometimes we talk about serious stuff, but this is what I like to do best. And if you just want to know a little bit about my site, basically what I try to do is I try to find things that are fun for the whole family to do. Like this, recently I played some computer games on Facebook. These games were Cityville, Superhero City, Rewardsville, Farmville, and they're all very family friendly, so you don't have to worry about should my kids, be alone on the computer when they're doing this or not. Should their friends know about this? This is all good. It's all about, using your imagination and learning to, just learning to be creative, I would say.
So, Nick,
even, Superhero City has some tasks like, fighting the bad guys or fighting off monsters. You don't really see anything gory or bloody. It's just clicked, and you might have won the battle, you might not have. There are brief video battles, but there's no blood or anything that can scare the kids.
Okay, so this
is really nice.
This to keep the kids off the streets and off of getting in trouble, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, sure. And stimulate the imagination. Give them something to let the kids have something to dream about, like maybe building their own city or being a superhero or whatever their passion may be. That's what I think.
Well, the good thing is,
the
good thing is if they're thinking about being heroes, then I would say that's a good thing for being police or being firefighters and like that.
And it puts you in the driver's seat. And there are places where I haven't done this, but there are places where you can go on the website and you can write a biography about your character. And they give you several, jobs you could do: a maintenance man, a barrister, a legal aid. You just pick one and you write. This is my story. Hi, I'm Nick Mamounis, or I'm Reggie Donald, or I'm Jack Jones, and this is my story. I was on my way to work, and all of a sudden I met this guy named the Shadow Knight, and he picked me to be a superhero, for example. And I think that's really neat. I think that's nice. Again, stimulate the imagination.
Sounds good.
And Cityville, the same thing, because you take a vacant. They give you a vacant lot, and you plant what you want in your city, like your favorite stores, your favorite ice cream parlor, your own police station, your own fire station. And you can invite your friends to play too, and they can become members of the police force, the fire department, the hospital, etc. And rewards. That's a very easy game to play, because the more often you play that, you play the other games that Sega offers, you get a reward, like you might get in your city a daycare center, or if you're so inclined to play Mob Wars, you might get yourself a free limousine or something of that nature.
Okay, Nick, I want you to just do one thing,
yes,
because I lost you a little bit along the way. I don't want our listeners to be lost.
Oh,
just explain again, where they go on the web to get to this? Is this Yahoo?
Oh, sure, of course.
Okay.
Yes, so anyway, if you want to read more about these reviews, this review of these games, just go to www.destinationnewstart.com and click on our blog, Destination New Start blog. It'll soon be in the Nixflix, but right now it's there, and it has all the information you need to learn how to play these games. Now, let's go on to let's briefly go on to something else. And let me go to the menu, and I'll go to my personal website for you. And let's just click on this one site. So it's a personal favorite of mine. Okay, very good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one comic book that I think will be a classic. Well, rather, it's a review of the comic that I think will be a classic that Marvel just put out. It's one where President Obama meets Spider-Man. So we'll listen to that in a little bit, and then we'll have a review.
Ottawa comic book stores are stocking up on the latest edition of Spider-Man. Why? Because he gets help from a powerful new friends. To other news now, Barack Obama is one politician who has a lot of fans. He's even reached superhero status in some circles. Jeff Semple has that story.
When he's sworn in next week, U.S. President-elect Barack Obama will inherit a troubled economy, 2 wars, and a crisis in the Middle East. But you can rest assured he'll have some help.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can.
From none other than your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The latest Spider-Man comic book arrived in stores today, and there, fighting evildoers at Spidey's side, is Barack Obama.
Something that's going to be a monumental piece of history. To see Spider-Man teaming up with Obama, that's something that's great. It's a fun read.
At stores across the city, Spidey Obama was a hot ticket.
It's been kind of a feeding frenzy in terms of people are really excited about the book.
I'm ecstatic.
Keith Joseph, an American now living in Ottawa, paid $40 to get his limited edition copy.
One day maybe my kids can have this, and they can look back, and their grandkids maybe, and say, hey, you know what? This was the first black president ever elected in the U.S. history.
It's not the first time a politician has entered the comic book realm. Just last fall, Barack Obama and John McCain appeared in their own illustrated biographies. But comic connoisseurs say never before has a president fought side by side with a real superhero. The story takes place on Inauguration Day. An Obama imposter tries to get sworn in as president, but then Spider-Man swoops in, and together he and Obama save the day.
It's a strange thing, but, he is kind of becoming that iconic a character for the American public.
But is Obama worthy of the hero label? Joseph is reserving judgment.
When he gets sworn in, then that's when he's going to be, measured and see if he's worth his weight in gold.
And with his inauguration less than a week away, Obama's own Spidey sense will soon be put to the test.
Okay.
Playing the clips, actually,
right.
But that's okay. This
well,
is stuff.
This is a comic book with two separate stories. Actually, one concerns Captain America, and the other concerns Spider-Man. It begins when Captain America and Spider-Man go after a gang led by a man posing as Abraham Lincoln, which does not sit well with Captain America, of course, because he's very patriotic. And so, once the crooks are captured, he tells Spider-Man at the time he heard Abraham Lincoln give the famous Gettysburg Address. And the good thing here is, Reggie, in case we all know 7 years ago. I've heard it before. I had a teacher English class, was talking rather about, the importance of speaking well, and he used a little bit of it. But in this particular comic book, if you can find it, it's still on Marvel.com, I'll look for future dates, but it tells you the entire speech from beginning to end. So, if you don't know it, you can learn it here. And then, which is a nice piece of history, I think.
Exactly. It's better than a history class. Yeah, more entertaining.
Yeah, because it'll keep kids interested because Captain America is involved.
Right.
Which will be a good way to engage the kids.
I think that's a good idea. That's pretty clever.
Concerns Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, when he tries to help President Obama stop the chameleon, which I think is a good one because we haven't had one like this in many years. I think the last one was President Kennedy. He did a Superman comic book right before that, the assassination, I believe. But here, it's good. It shows, the comedian trying to impersonate the president. And I think it's a good thing because it shows the president himself, our president, Obama himself, has a nice sense of humor about himself and his situation and his job.
Yeah, I remember reviewing that that video that you have on there, and that's what it's a very good video, and it's talking about pretty much about his character, and then about you just imagine him actually meeting somebody as superhero-ish as Spider-Man or somebody like the Captain America or somebody like that. It's just amazing.
Right. But he has such, to me, he has such a easygoing style. You would think he would meet somebody like that if they actually existed. Right.
Well, but way back when in my comic book superhero mind, which I never gave up completely, that would have been. I mean, it's still
tonight, folks.
Say that again.
Which we're picking tonight, folks.
Yes.
We're taking Reggie down a stroll down a memory lane.
Yes. Well, it was in my junior high school days, 7th grade through 9th grade, that I was a nut for comic books, a complete nut. Mm-hmm. I had a collection of about 300 comic books, and they came mostly from my next door neighbor, but also from some buddies at school. And I was into them until my dad shamed me from sitting on the commode one day when he needed to use the restroom. And I was sitting there reading a bunch of comic books. And he told me, if you don't get rid of those things, son, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to tear them all up. So, I mean, just to say that was like, I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? So I got out of the habit of reading them. But I still remember them vividly.
Yeah. Do you collect it all anymore? Do you collect them at all anymore?
Well, I stopped, but let's say about maybe a decade ago, I can't remember how many years, but I was living in Santa Ana, California, and I stopped at a store that had them. It's a specialty store that had like baseball cards and stuff that they trade there, and turned out they had comic books. And all I did was I walked in and started running my mouth about the New Gods saga by Jack Kirby from the DC Comics Direct Currents comic books. Mm-hmm. And I just started remembering one of the issues I had been reading vividly and started talking about it, and the store clerk manager knew exactly what I was talking about and took me straight to the comic book that I used to own, and then took me to he just filled in the blank of what happened afterwards, what happened before that, and it's like
you must have been in pardon the pun, in little kid heaven or in teenage heaven.
But I had to find myself an excuse to buy one again. So it was Christmas time, so I had a good excuse to buy one for my nephew. So I bought. I must have bought about $30 worth of comic books there that day, because I went on and got something that, one of those compilation ones that I went and got a couple of those for my nephew, couple of ones I knew that I would enjoy, and then of course the follow-up issues that I hadn't read to my favorite. And I just became a kid again, at heart, and went on and purchased them and never looked back. Just said, well, I can enjoy these again even more than I did when I was younger now. And that's what's good about them. You can actually reminisce a lot, with those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we need to keep the comic book industry going, because the comic book characters are every kid's first heroes. Later, when you get older and you start learning more about your history of your country, and you start forming opinions about what's right and what's wrong, then your heroes become more realistic, like the president, or becoming a policeman, or becoming a fireman. But this is what really, this is the first thing that really teaches kids about morality and whether they want to be the good guy or the bad guy. So I think that's very important.
That's a great point. I mean, and it's very needed, because the first thing that young people try to go through as they come up is trying to identify with a hero or with a father figure. The father figure is not always in the house. They're, likewise a single parent or whatever. So a lot of times the young men identify with